Maybe it was seeing my face on a billboard on Sunset Boulevard. Maybe it was 2 nights sold out in London. Maybe it was 25 pounds ago, before my whole world fell apart. Maybe it was right before my accident that my life was good as it's gonna get, and there's no going back. What if the best I've got is already 3 years gone? What if I miss the view from the mountaintop? What if it all flew by and I never even realized that I've already lived the best days of my life at 29? I know that I shouldn't be thinking like this. I'm still plenty young, but lately it feels like my clock is ticking away. And I'm never gonna get the chance to be the person that I wanna be the mother of a family, without giving up everything I've worked so hard for all these years. What if I'm just watching it slowly disappear? What if the best I've got is already 3 years gone? What if I miss the view from the mountaintop? What if it all flew by and I never even realized that I've already lived the best days of my life? It's 29. What if I spend my whole life chasing a moment that I'm never gonna get back, like a junkie for some cheap attention? What if it all goes downhill and I never wanna sit still? What if I'm wasting time looking for a better version of myself? What if she's way in the past now? What the hell do I do now? What if the best I've got is already 3 years gone? What if I miss the view from the mountain top?
All right, hello guys. So we're back in another live stream. Hopefully the audio sounds fine, as it's only my second time back on Streamlabs after the good old Night of the Seven Kingdoms kind of nonsense, I guess. And so today, very quick stream. Just wanted to update you guys on what to expect moving forward, what's the plan, all that kind of stuff, and give a little bit of a explanation on some things. So I have been kind of thinking about doing a series on, and I put a post on this, I think yesterday. Yeah. And about doing this a thing where, Becky, she's been doing her reactions and they've been so good and I've really enjoyed watching her content that I've kind of thought, okay, well, I kind of have always wanted to do this thing where I look at each episode and go, okay, what's different in the books? Be the classic nerd of, hey, in the books, this is what actually happened. Something along the lines of that. Not what Becky's doing where like she's reacting to the entire episode, but like, you go into episode 1 and okay, what did this change happen in the show? Like what was left out? So for instance, they changed the prologue slightly, like ever slightly, on how certain characters die or how things go. So I was thinking about doing that. So I put a post out because I was thinking about doing it on the second channel. I don't know how much you guys would want that as a series, because I'd be doing that like probably once a week. So one of my slots would be to that like style. And so you guys definitely wanted that on the main channel versus the second channel. Now, again, some of you guys are great. You love everything I put out, so I don't know how that's going to go. So I think I'm going to do maybe season 1, just see how it goes before House of the Dragon, and then we'll go from there. So that is one thing that I think starting next week, one video each week will be dedicated to that series, and you guys will kind of get the feel of what I'm trying to do with it. Once I post it, it's hard to describe. Just keep in mind, it's not like what you would assume it would be. Like, it's not me rewatching the episode with you guys and then just adding commentary to it, kind of like what Becky does. It's more going to be like, okay, I have a scene up, maybe I'll play a small clip of it, and then I'll go, okay, so this is what happens in the show. And then in the book, what actually happens is this. Waymar is actually the person that kills Will. In the show, Will survives. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, next thing, the Starks and their family introduction. In the book, it's done this way. In the show, it's not like I'm reacting exactly to the show. It's more like the show is there for background, more or less. So we'll see how you guys like that. We'll see how you respond to that. And then this week, so on Wednesday, I believe, I have a Mysteries of the Winterfell Crypts. I haven't talked about that at all on this channel, really, mainly because it's just not my forte. A lot of the magical elements or theories I tend to stick away from because it's not the thing that I've, studied in A Song of Ice and Fire the most. It's not the thing that has my interest, but the Winterfell Crypts is one of those that I really wanted to cover, so Wednesday's video will be all about what is going on in the Winterfell Crypts. Are there spirits? And the idea of the old Stark kings and their spirits being trapped in these statues or whatnot. So we'll talk about that. And then also in that same video, we'll talk about some of the things that maybe are being hidden there, links to Rhaegar and Lyanna, possible dragon eggs, or a dragon in general. That'll be Wednesday's video, so more of a book-styled video. And then on Friday, this was not exactly a planned video, but in the same vein of Becky's one of like the only people I watch in the A Song of Ice and Fire / Game of Thrones community, even though Becky's technically book talk, like she covers books, but then also covers Game of Thrones. Either way, she put it that way. I don't really watch a lot of A Song of Ice and Fire content, so her reactions to season 6, I was like, hey, I want to do a retrospective of season 6, just in terms of like, some people really love season 6, even after, what happens later on and all that stuff. Even to this day, some people regard season 6 very highly. There's other people, myself, do not hold season 6 to be very good. I think it's actually pretty bad. And so I wanted to explore, all the plot lines, talk about some of my own criticisms with the show, why people kind of like the show, and how that then catapulted us into season 7 and season 8. And so that video was not planned. It was not meant to be very long, especially given I was behind on recording. And so that video came out to be an hour-long recording, and I'm still editing it, so this stream is going to be much shorter because I need to finish the edit. I have about 10-15 minutes left on the edit, which is more like an hour and a half of editing left. And so that'll be up Friday for members, Patreons. That'll probably be up maybe the end of the day, but I would maybe look towards it for more tomorrow. So that's the videos for this week. Next week, we'll start probably at least at the beginning. Weekly will be Friday, will be the book / television show, the differences and going through each episode. So start on episode 1 and we'll just go forward. And then Wednesday will still be some sort of upload related to the books specifically. Now, I'm not sure what that video is going to be. I do have a list from recommendations from you guys and my own videos I want to do. So, yeah. And also, I want to start the Game of Thrones series soon. Because if that series does well, if it doesn't do well, I can kind of gauge how I want to do House of the Dragon season 3, because I was thinking of that series for season 1 will end as House of the Dragon season 3 comes out. So I might do something similar where like, okay, House of the Dragon season 3 episode 1, we're presuming, again, spoilers, that the Battle of the Gullet happens. So I could explain what happens allegedly in the book in Fire and Blood, and then why they left out certain things or they changed certain things, and it'll be similar in the vein of that. So that is loosely what I want to do with that upload. The Wednesday upload will still continue being like kind of the same. For the rereads people, a lot of people have been asking me or saying they didn't even know I had a second channel. Technically I have 3 channels, but the second channel for related to this channel is basically the Grease Goblins rereads. So if you ever want to watch that, it is just me going through the chapters each and every week. So I've, over the past like 3 years, have done Game of Thrones, and now we finished A Clash of Kings last week with Bran's final chapter. So if you want to check that out, feel free to do so. And I was thinking about what I'm going to do with that channel. Originally, I was going to put what I talked about earlier with that series on this channel, on that channel, but you guys said no. My kitty Rhea has decided to get on top of my desk. I don't know if you guys can see her. Hold on. Oh yeah, you guys can. Rhea likes to have the spotlight. So she likes to have the spotlight. I will get to chat here in a second because I know somebody asked a question. Rhea, I'm in the middle of the stream. You got to chill out. What was I saying? So basically on the Rereach channel, I will probably be doing those like compilation style videos of like my main channel videos, putting them into some sort of video where it's like thematically it makes sense. So maybe I'll do book versus show characters for an episode or whatnot. But that'll probably be what I'll do until I start up my Storm of Swords reread and all of that. Anything else I need to mention before I address chat? I don't think so. Those are the main ones. Maybe a new series, kind of some videos coming up. Like I mentioned in the last stream, there's a possibility that I'm getting open back surgery or fusion spinal surgery on my back on like the beginning of the summer maybe. So we'll see how that interrupts content around that time. Not sure. I'll have to keep you guys posted on that, but I do want to update you guys on that. Last thing I want to say, for the season 6 video that'll be coming out on Friday, bear with me around the 30-minute mark. I'm assuming my mother started vacuuming directly above me, and you can hear that in the recording. My cat just muted my mic. I tried to fix it as best I can, but vacuum background noise is probably one of the hardest things to remove. So you can still kind of hear it, especially if you're headphone users. If you're not using headphones, you won't hear it that much. Like, it'll probably still be there, but like it won't be that big of a problem. So yeah, Rhea, you're killing me here, kid. Yeah, hold on, guys. Ugh. Say hi to stream. Okay, you got your screen time now. Chill out. But yeah, so addressing chat. So Sky Prison asks, what if Viserys married Rhaenys? It would have helped unite the claims. I'll say that right away. So I think that would have helped unify House Targaryen a bit. So I think it probably would have prevented a dance, especially because Rhaenys was much more intelligent than Viserys. It probably would have helped with rulership as well. I don't think the two would have had a very good relationship, though. Like, I don't think Rhaenys and Viserys would have been a good marriage made in heaven, but I do think it would have probably delayed the dance at the very least. GTA says, thanks for making your lore videos on Got in A Song of Ice and Fire. No problem. I will say another reason why I want to do kind of a series is I kind of feel like where I'm at right now, it's becoming harder and harder to have video ideas, especially when the shows are not like present. Because it's like, you know, when I've been doing this channel for 5 years at this point. Not 5 years, around there though. Probably around more like 4.5 years. I've talked about all the characters for Winds of Winter predictions. I've covered a lot of these theories. It's becoming harder to make videos that I enjoy and you guys also want to see. So like, for instance, a lot of you guys are like, oh, well, you can do lore content. That would be super cool. You guys don't want lore content. I make lore content and most of the time they do bad. That's not to say all the time. And that's the problem, is it's very hard to predict what lore videos you guys want. So like, for instance, the Dreadfort, you guys love that video. I'll do another lore on a certain house or something. You guys don't want to watch it at all, or YouTube does not like push it out to you guys. So yeah, I think So we'll see how the series does. If the Game of Thrones, like, quote unquote rewatch series doesn't do that well, then, you know, we won't continue it because obviously you guys, you know, don't want to see it. I will continue it till season 1 though, like finishing season 1. That way it's at least a completed project and maybe I come back to it at some point. What if Robb decided to give up and bend the knee to Tywin? So Zach, this really depends on when Robb does it. So if Robb had decided to bend his knee, let's say around the end of A Clash of Kings, so early A Storm of Swords, right when Tywin is at his fullest power, I think the terms would have been a lot more harsh. In terms of, like, there would have been a lot more captives. Robb wouldn't have been executed or anything like that. But it would have been a situation where, for instance, Sansa would be a captive the rest of her life. She would probably still be married to Tyrion, maybe, or something along those lines. It'd be a situation where the Robb would have to give up his kingdom. I think the North itself would look a lot more worse on Robb specifically. So it would be a situation where Robb would definitely live, of course. Catelyn would live in this scenario. And eventually, we'd find out that Bran and Rickon would be fine. Well, at least Bran. We don't know about Rickon, with him going to Skagos and all that. But overall, the story would be happier. And that's kind of the tragedy of A Clash of Kings is, in reality, Robb should have just made peace terms right away. Because the thing is with Robb's campaign is it's doomed. As soon as he's made king, it becomes a situation where you are now saying that your kingdom is completely isolated from the rest of Westeros, and that's something no one's going to ever allow. Now, you can fight it back, but then the problem becomes Robb is attached to the Riverlands, so he can't just go, oh, I'm an isolation kingdom now, all that kind of stuff, because then the Riverlands gets taken over. That is what would have happened if Robb had gone back north, if the Red Wedding hadn't happened. Basically, Tywin would have just done what happens in the main story anyway. The Riverlands start getting taken down one by one, and then Robb has lost the kingdom. So I think if Robb would have done it before the Battle of the Blackwater, it actually would have been a lot more favorable terms, because Robb had been at the crux of his power, at the height of him winning battles, or even like before he's made king in a Game of Thrones. That was him at the height of his power, of his successes. The Lannisters were at their lowest, looking like they were going to lose. It would allow Tywin to go deal with Stannis. It would make Stannis' cause less likely to work. So, in my opinion, Robb should have done it, because then it would have given him a better end to his story. There's no Red Wedding that's going to happen. He could have helped defend from the attack on the Wildlings. It just would have gone better. It would have made a more unified Westeros overall. Sansa, though, still would have become a captive. Like, that doesn't change here, just because Sansa would have been needed to make sure the North doesn't rebel again, similar to, like, the Theon situation. Depending on the timing, if Theon has not invaded the North yet. Also, I think Rickon would have probably been made of a hostage situation. Or maybe Bran. I would assume, though, Rickon, given people look down on cripples, all that kind of stuff. I assume the deal would have been Rickon and Sansa are hostages, and Robb is fine and all that. And Robb gets maybe Ned's bones back and all that kind of stuff. I think that's what likely would have happened. But, yeah. To add, that would be concerning for him if Joffrey was in charge, who would still want him dead. Are you talking about Robb in this scenario, Zach? Like, because Joffrey being in charge doesn't mean much, given the fact that if Tywin is in control, he doesn't have to deal with Robb. Tywin doesn't need Tyrion to be the hand of the king, like at King's Landing, because that's where Tywin would be. Tywin would be dealing with threats in the south and the east, not in the north and the west. But overall, I think Tywin would just take control of Joffrey. Especially in the book, it's very clear that Joffrey, yes, he's a little shit, but Tywin's the person really in control. So I think in general, Robb should have basically bent the knee. Robb would have then have taken a Frey wife. Maybe this is Rosalind, maybe it's not, depending on what point of the story it happens. If it happens after he marries Jane Westerling, then the Freys are not going to act, because the Lannisters wouldn't have been backing them. And the Boltons are very interesting, because depending on when Robb bent the knee, the Boltons would be in a tough spot, because a lot of their crimes could get exposed. So that's another wrinkle to it. Again, that one's just really hard to do if you don't give me like a specific point, because there's so many different points he could have done it, and that changes how events like play out. But yeah, I hope I answered your question there well enough. Also, side note, it's Game of Thrones related, but this is a very big side note. Fortnite decided to add Game of Thrones skins after I don't know how many years. Like, I've been hoping for Game of Thrones skins or Lord of the Rings skins for literally years at this point. Now, I don't play Fortnite all the time. I'm not good at Fortnite. I play, no build because I'm not, 15 and I don't have the reflexes for all that shit. But, why now? Like, I'm glad they put them in. Like, the skins themselves are great. The emotes are great. But why now? Like, Game of Thrones Season 8's been years removed now. I don't know. It's just wild. It's a random tangent, but yeah. All right. So that, I think, is what I wanted to talk about in the stream. Just give you guys a little bit of an update. And I didn't want this stream to be very long because I got to edit for you guys. So let me know down in the comments if you're watching this later or if you're in chat. What do you think about the series I proposed? Do you want it? Do you not want it? I think I'm going to go forward with it, but if enough people say no, by the time I go to record, probably middle of this week, then I'll think about it. But yeah, thank you guys for all stopping in.